But hello, everybody, and welcome to what will be an hour of us talking to our Philadelphia Fellowship recipients from last year. I'm really excited. We had 20 very talented Black artists who received grant money from Mural Arts, and we had a fantastic group of filmmakers, glass blowers, and tons of people from more disciplines. And what we wanted to do was sort of like take a look back, a year in review, just to see where they've been going since they received that grant money, what they're doing now, and how we can help support these artists as we move forward into this year, where we'll be granting yet another 20 artists more grants in order for them to sort of fund their creative visions. So we're going to start tuning in to some of these artists. We've got Shanae Richards with us. We have Tiberino with us. We have Simone Holland, and we will have Yannick Lowry with us. So I'm going to start asking them to turn on their cameras so that we can introduce them, see their shining faces, and get this party started. Oh, Ellen, stop it. Look at you. Since you done already broke it down with this hat, I'm gonna make you start because I can't stop staring at you now.
This is called I didn't make it to the hairdresser, so you gotta work with what you got. What a year it's been.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
My name's Tiberino. I'm a mosaic artist from West Philly. I come from a well-known family of artists here in Philadelphia. Very thankful and grateful for this chance to highlight myself, my art. It was the icing on an otherwise shit cake of a year. So actually that's not true. Really, I've taken advantage of this. It's been time to work on my art, to focus on me. So, other than, quarantine, people dying, the shit show of a president we had, I think all this stuff helps fuel your practice, fuel your art, so I've been trying to take these broken pieces and make something out of them, much like a mosaic.
That's a beautiful analogy. Can you just tell us what made you even apply for the fellowship?
I love mural arts. There were a lot of grant aids and things going on that, I don't know, a lot of these things didn't seem too legitimate, because you were promoting them and then you didn't hear anything back. So when I saw that, I said, wow, this is the one for me, because I have a history with mural arts and for Black artists. I was like, that has my name written all over it. And matter of fact, a few friends have sent it to me, because sometimes you miss things, and I was like, that's for me. That's for me. Yeah, I thought it was a good fit.
I'm happy that you did, because otherwise we would have never had the chance to sit down and talk to you like this. Yes. But I was very familiar with your family and the amazing work that you've done around Philadelphia. But we're gonna wrap back around to that so we can talk a bit about that. Yes. But next on my screen is actually Shanae. So if you wouldn't mind, you can just pop in next.
Hey, Ginger. And hey, everyone, thank you for joining us at this year in review. My name is Shanae Richards, and I'm an interior designer based here in Philadelphia and in Harlem. Some of my work has been featured in Elle Decor, Business of Home, National Geographic, Apartment Therapy. I do mostly residential work and some prop design and prop styling for some major networks. I applied to the fellowship not because of the grant, actually. I saw this as an opportunity to network with other artists in Philadelphia and really find some art for my own home and for the spaces of folks who I design for. And so more than the funds and more than the recognition, the networking opportunity has been tremendous. And so I'm really excited for this class because I got to meet Simone and Ellen and Yannick, whose work is all over he gets a lot of my money. Always talk about Yannick taking our money. But just having the opportunity to network with other like-minded creators in Philadelphia has been a tremendous experience.
Thanks so much for introducing yourself. And Yannick is going to be joining us soon, but I'm sorry he's missing all these accolades. But yes, it is a pleasure to look at his work and to give him your money. So I agree with that as well. And as you can hear, this has been a year in review for me too, because I've got my daughter crying in the background. But yeah, COVID babies. So really excited about that change. But what about you, Simone? What have you been up to?
Hi, everyone. My name is Simone Holland. I'm a multidisciplinary digital visual artist and filmmaker based out of Philadelphia. I've been working on a lot of documentaries this year, just kind of focusing on directing. And as far as, mural arts goes, the project that I'm directing right now that's supposed to be screening in April is a multi-medium project. So when I saw what I filmed it 2 years ago, before all of this started happening. And, I wanted to have the event in April of last year, but that's when, everything hit the fan and everything had to be canceled. I didn't really know where to go with the project. I knew I still wanted to release it. But, with the Mural Arts grant popping up, it really gave me another view on how to include different types of artists. And I didn't really know how to do that myself. So the grant just really helped me, get to know other artists and really wrap my head around what it really meant to collaborate in a film space. So I'm just really grateful for the opportunity.
And of course, my internet is all going out. So sorry about that, guys, like technical difficulties, but I'll be right back with you. But we look like we have Yannick with us as well. So we were just singing your praises. But
Thank you. Thank you for here. Sorry I'm late, everybody.
No. That's the kind of, like Ellen says, that's the kind of year we've all been having, isn't it? It's like always something.
Yeah, blame it on that.
Yeah, I'm blaming everything on the year, everything. Yeah. But please tell us about yourself, Yannick.
Okay, my name is Yannick Lowry. I'm a new transplant to Philadelphia. I've been here about 3 years. I'm an interdisciplinary artist currently working in the medium of collage. Through mural arts, I've been really, fortunate to have some really cool opportunities just stem from the bountiful network of artists and art appreciators that have really followed the organization. So that's probably been the biggest benefit, just meeting people who are affiliated and, nurturing those relationships. So this last year has been really great as far as creativity, working on new different, ideas and seeing them come to fruition. It's been really exciting. I'm looking forward to continuing that and continuing to build these relationships through mural arts and, other organizations as well. So it's been a really exciting year.
So I just want to get an idea of what was the process like for all of you with the fellowship, because we're going to have people applying into it for this year. And so maybe you can give them just a little bit more about your experience, or maybe what you expected and what it turned out to be.
Is this for me?
Yeah, anybody who wants to jump in, please. We don't need to raise our hands. Whoever starts can grab the mic.
I mean, while I got it, I'll just say, I really didn't have any expectations that, things would change drastically. I know that, a lot of artists are getting opportunities, but it's really about how they capitalize on it. So I knew that any shot that I got, I was going to try to make the most of it, and that was dependent on me. But I will say that the biggest takeaway from the fellowship would be, like I said before, was just meeting so many great artists and, having access to that network just to have a community to be a part of was really beneficial for my practice. And I think that, setting my expectations high might have led to a disappointment, but luckily, I really just was more realistic. And I think that, going forward, we can kind of raise the bar for what we wanted to happen. And I think, new applicants can really aspire to have a greater experience than we did, just based on, us being the first and, being able to give some pointers. So I'm looking forward to helping that next wave.
Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about. So for the audience, we all had a little chat before we're coming here to talk about our year in review. But I think the most important thing is if any of you are out there thinking about applying for the fellowship, we just want to speak very honestly and say that this was the trial run. Like it popped up. It was a great opportunity, and we're so happy the Mural Arts took this and ran with it. But we just want to make it the best possible program moving forward. So if anybody has questions, please put them in the chat box. We'll start getting to them at the end of the talk today, but we will try to be as transparent as possible. But who wants to like jump in next and talk about their experience with the fellowship?
I'll jump in. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you great.
Wonderful. I loved being on the mailing list. I got a lot out of that. I applied for the Maplewood Mall project, and just getting experience about how things on that end of things, just to be on that mailing list, even though, a lot of things were out of my scope. It was nice to be included and see the projects that were being offered, and things that I can work towards, sharpening my skill set, getting different tools in my toolbox to be ready for. So I love that, to be able to meet all the wonderful artists, to be included with them, and publicity. I was just featured in the Philadelphia Stories winter issue for 2021. It just came out a few days ago. And the woman happened to see this and reach out to me. So, any publicity is good publicity to get out there more.
Congratulations on that, Ellen. I didn't know that.
Thank you. Yeah. I should have dropped a link in it. I have 2 artist talks coming up. One for Mosaic Society of Philadelphia. That'll be Sunday the 21st. Then I have one for Penn Museum, which I'm really honored for them to ask me. That's one of my favorite museums in the city. It's called a living room lecture, like a happy hour kind of fun thing. I'll bring them into my living room, and so a lot of these things, publicity, getting your name out there, and a lot of people are not familiar with my work. They're familiar with my family's work, but me as an individual, there's some things I have to work on. I want to get my own website up, and I'm still working on putting me out there as an individual. So this was really a great tool for that, and I'm thankful.
And Victoria just dropped Ellen's upcoming events into our chat box. So if anybody wants to take a gander at those links, you can hit that up right now. And then we have Shanae and Simone. I don't know who wants to go next, but we'd love to hear from you too.
I can jump in just regarding process, the application process. I think I had some trepidation because as an interior designer, how do you connect that to mural arts? And as the lone interior designer of the group, I can say that the experience has been as fulfilling to me as it has for the rest of the cohort. From this group, I actually started painting, right? Because of Yannick, because of Simone, because of Ellen, and because of how they love their art. I use art as a means of self-care, especially when the zombie apocalypse started to get really hellish last summer, right? And so as an interior designer, art informs a lot of my decision-making. And so I started to create my own art, turning my garage into an art studio, and that's been fun. And so I wanted to encourage anyone who is multidisciplinary, but not in the cookie cutter realm of what would be defined as an artist, would encourage you to apply for this fellowship because they're looking for everyone. They're looking for creatives who work hard and are out here grinding, but who are willing to network and share their experience with each other. And so if you're out there and you are thinking of applying and you don't know if this fits, it does. Whatever you are doing will fit. They'll make it fit. So I just wanted to mention that.
I appreciate you saying that. Is it because when Noah and I started to go through the artist submissions, I was really so impressed that you had even submitted. Because I thought to myself, well, she's already thinking outside of the box, like an interior designer. And you don't necessarily think of that when you think of mural arts. But seeing your discipline and that you were using Black artists and placing them in homes in your interior design, to me, it's like 7 degrees of separation. Like, okay, so we've already got artists working at mural arts and Shanae sees their work and places them in the home of a collector, then we've already made a stride, right? We've already done something outside of the box and helped another artist out in another way. Because the money is great. Like we said, that the money is great to pay a bill, to rent for your studio, maybe to grab some tools, but we really wanted to focus on building a very strong community of Black creatives here in Philadelphia, where we could just reach in and sort of pluck one another up when we needed help or if we needed to push somebody else ahead. So that's one of the things, like Shanae's right, please, like apply, even if you don't think that discipline is what we're looking for, you're probably wrong. Like I just want to see what's out there. I want to see what's going on in Philadelphia, and so does Mural Arts, and so does the other curator, Noah Small. So I say, we're just waiting to see what we don't know. But
and to Ginger's point, sorry, Ginger.
No, go for it.
The grant money is helpful, and we talked about this last time that we had the group conversation. It can pay a bill, it can help out with some groceries, but if it's only for the money, if you're only applying for the money, it's not worth it. They don't require you, the Mural Arts program doesn't require you to attend events like this, but it will enrich your life if you plan on networking, if you really, really want to invest in yourself and furthering your career. Folks like me have been reaching out to Ginger about getting our art placed, and you have to figure out how to meet a Ginger and how to get her attention. And if you're looking to get Ginger's attention, she likes cornbread and she likes it delivered on her step. She wasn't having any red wine last year and I couldn't figure out why, but you have to figure out how to connect with folks, right? And how to understand, and it's not a game we're playing, but you have to understand how to reach people. And this has taught us, all of us, how to reach curators, how to reach each other, and that part's important.
Last but not least, we have Simone.
I was waiting last, just to piggyback off of Shanae, like, when it came to applying to this, I didn't know what to expect. As a filmmaker, I knew that my project, would fit because there was a multimedia aspect of it that included, graffiti artists and muralists, but I didn't even know what that would look like or how I would fit in with the rest of the cohort. But, just really, one of the fellows is actually a part of my documentary now. So, forging those friendships that kind of extend beyond art has really, really been a great takeaway. As far as the email list, for myself, because I do film, the art aspect of it, it's good to know what's actually going on around the city. But yeah, it just reframed how I viewed film, how I go about my projects, and how I can even, further expand what my documentaries can include, and, how I can even, I've been talking to Mural Arts about possibly helping with video and moving things into more of a virtual space. So it's just really been an awesome experience. And, this year has been insane. And I feel like most of my year has kind of been a waiting game because I've been directing, but now that I'm, getting into the final phase of what I'm working on, I've been in touch with Mural Arts a little bit more about what I need moving forward. So, everyone's kind of been there to help and has answered when they could. And especially now, even though the fellowship is over and is ending, it doesn't mean that connection ends. So that's the one thing that I really appreciated about, the past few conversations that I've had with everyone.
Yeah, I think we're trying to build that family out. And like we were saying that, for the future fellows, being able to use you guys as a resource as well. I'm just so proud of everybody and their projects that have been moving forward. I'd love for us to sort of like delve into what exactly you're doing in Philadelphia, because a lot of you have a lot of great projects coming up right now, or since you received that grant, have laid down some really amazing stuff in Philadelphia. And I want everybody to know. So like, Simone, I know you just finished talking, but you have a film that you're going to start with debuting in April.
Yes, so it's called Vex. It is a 3-part series that focuses on challenging standards of beauty through conventionally beautiful images. So I have 7 different models and artists, all local to Philadelphia. They're all artists in their own right that just, they are models, but they don't fit into the mainstream idea of what a model is. And if they do, there's a glass box that kind of comes with the territory of being a token in that space. So I, interviewed each one of them about their journey. And I also brought in 6 different photographers, all local to Philly, pretty well-known photographers, to take their still photos. And then, on the back end, I'm gonna have there's a lot going on, and I'm trying to figure out what to tell and what not to tell. But there are a lot of 7 different graffiti artists and muralists that are involved with the project as well, and are giving their perspective on women's mental health, because that's really, with everything that's going on now, especially, I just wanted to open up the conversation and use this project as a way to show that not all of these topics are taboo, and we're not alone. Everyone is going through this. Everyone has their own individual journeys and struggles, but you're not alone. So I'm having some conversations with some groups in Philadelphia, and possibly doing a women's mental health panel after each screening. So I really just, I just want to open up the conversation with that documentary.
And I'm going to give a little bit of time, because I'm sure Victoria is already on putting your information into the chat box. But just for people listening before that comes in, where can we look up your work or help support you right now?
Yeah, so I have, I've sent Victoria my reel, if, you wanted to show it now or later. I have my website as well. Right now, I'm looking to, partner with nonprofits. I want to reach out to Porchlight, who's also part of Mural Arts. Just getting sponsorships and looking for investors right now, because these are bigger projects that include different types of artists. It's been a little bit of a struggle to get support, because a lot of people feel like I'm doing too much, but it makes sense. Art is, it's not just one medium. Everyone has something to say. So, when it comes to my project, that's really what I'm trying to push moving forward. So I am looking, I love Philadelphia. I've been here for a while now, went to school here, and, I just want to continue to be a part of that process.
Man, as many times as we have the Zoom and you start talking with unmuting, you would think by now. But what I was saying was, I was asking Victoria if we're able to show that reel. Are we able to, Victoria? Tell me yay, nay. Awesome. All right, guys, so let's check out Simone's work.
Philadelphia, to me, is the home of the DJ, especially as we know it now.
A woman is made up of so many things. The essence of a woman is not monolithic.
I felt most beautiful around people who were comfortable.
I started being more honest with myself, thinking, who am I really?
Why is there so much pressure to embody these icons, That's their life. I'm living mine.
It's like I can truly say that, your submission, when we started playing any of your reels, I cannot say it enough to know that you guys are in Philadelphia and we just did not know. It felt like such a waste up until now. I'm just so grateful that this fellowship has sort of like opened our eyes to the resources that we really have. It was brilliant. I mean, just that opening scene of the kicks on the record player.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, the end of my reel is Vex, so that's kind of a little bit of what you'll be seeing, the types of shots you'll be seeing. But we're also, myself and Tetra Creative, which is the agency collective that I started. We are working as a team on a documentary about West Philadelphia DJs who all live in the same 10-block radius, and we're releasing the teaser in a few days, maybe next week. So, I don't want to give away too much, but that is one of the scenes, from that. We're really just, this year has really been kind of a slingshot, for lack of a better metaphor. It really centered. I think it's funny because I feel like this actual, mural arts, this opportunity really centered me as far as where I wanted to go with my art and how I wanted to speak up. And, without, I felt like my wheels were just turning and I didn't know where I was going. And then, this just popped up on the screen and, I applied and got it. And, I've always wanted to say something. I filmed Vex 2 years ago. I've always wanted to kind of keep that energy going. But now I have nothing but time to make it happen. So that's where I'm at. And, I love partnering with Philadelphia creatives. There's never enough talent. And there's so many people that, would love, that have just been a great resource to help along this way. So I'm just really, really grateful.
Like when I think about resources, then I start to think about Shanae, because Shanae, you applied to us for one thing, and then I found out that you do several other things. And it felt like a nice switch around, like you weren't working for us. I was doing something for you, which was amazing. Thank you for asking me to speak to the women's group. But please, can you tell us a bit more about your work there?
Certainly. So in addition to being an interior designer, I am the managing director of Philadelphia Housing Authority's Entrepreneurship Resource Center. So we are building an entrepreneurship center from the ground up for individuals that live in public housing. And I have been inviting speakers to come in and talk to our residents because it's important for them to see what they can become. It's important for us to transfer this knowledge from ourselves to our community. And I talk to you about this and I tell folks about this. We cannot financial literacy our way out of poverty. And so it's important for me to get funds from folks through PHA to invest in our individuals. So we're providing seed money in this entrepreneurship program for those residents. So I'm really excited about that. In addition to my work, interior design can be so unreachable, it seems, right, and luxurious. And so there's a side of me that is still about these streets and still about our community. And so I have to make sure that gets pressed and built up the way it can. We just started building it in August. And I think you were one of our first speakers in maybe September, October in the fall. So we have guest speakers coming in, talking to our residents. So that's one of the things that I am doing post fellowship. On the commercial and residential side of my interior design business, we are still taking clients. I am booked until about this fall, until about September, October. So we're not taking any residential clients until after that. And I'm working on a show house in Lenox, Massachusetts. And so in addition to the center and design, I have this incredible project happening in Massachusetts that I'm really thrilled about. So I'm busy and I do like to nap. So that's really what I'm doing, working and napping.
That's a good busy. I just, and for me, like I find it was very difficult for me, and it still is, to navigate this art world as a Black woman. How is it for you in interior design? Because I don't know if I've ever really thought about that.
How is it for me as a Black woman in interior
design? Yeah.
There are a lot of us and we all know each other, but unfortunately the world doesn't know about us. And so that has been changing since last year. And sometimes it seems like it's being force-fed. And so we are now, as Black interior designers, getting a bit more shine, and I can feel it, my peers can feel it, but we're still out here trying to do that same work. We're still in communities working for our communities, because a lot of our communities don't realize they can be serviced by interior designers. They think it's out of reach, and sometimes it can be, right? There are folks that are super high end and there are folks that are not. And so we're making a push to our communities to let them know that we do provide services at various levels to serve each other. And so while the brands of the world are pushing us, we're really trying to push ourselves deeper in the community.
I know you had said that, you not only purchased some of Yannick's work, but you have placed it in some of the homes that you've been designing for. And I just wondered, like, I know it might be very trivial to other people, but what does it mean to not only give art to people in their homes, but to give them Black art or art done by Black creatives?
I'm thinking of a project that I worked on in Center City. I used Yannick's art for it, as a matter of fact. And this is for individual who is a commentator on MSNBC. She's amazing. She was actually the person who interviewed Kamala Harris when she was announced as a VP pick. And so Yannick's art is in her place. Yannick's art is in her place because of the fellowship, because I got to meet him through this incredible opportunity. And so what does it mean to me? It means I know him. It means I know that I bought art from someone who is warm and pure and driven. And it's in someone else's home who is as Black as me and is warm and driven and wouldn't have found that, wouldn't have found Yannick but for me. And so making those connections is really important.
I think there's a spiritual connection, I think, between all of us. And I'd be very honest that, a lot of times, because we don't get a chance to see ourselves in a lot of jobs, we could even assume that there aren't any Black glass blowers, there aren't any Black collage artists. And this has just opened my eyes to something extremely new. Girl, as much stuff is going on as over here. Don't be sorry. This is a lot happening. This is our laid back year review. But it's a perfect time for, I think, Yannick to talk about what he's been doing, because I got an opportunity to work with Yannick through my arts initiative. And I have to say, it blew my mind. So please, Yannick, tell me what you've been doing and also talk about what we did together.
Okay, first, let me say, hold on. I didn't know that, Shanae, I didn't know I had a piece in, well, we're gonna have to talk. We'll figure that out. But thank you for all your kind words. I'm blushing over here for real. But yeah, this year has been really, really exciting. Some cool projects. I've had a chance to work with you, as we mentioned, in the public realm on this light box. This was a project that I guess you guys had already been doing for a while now, adopting these fixtures on South Street and, adorning them with, beautiful work. I got the opportunity to put my spin on it, and I think it really sparked something in me for just adding to my repertoire of doing work that's in public spaces. For years, I've been doing a lot of wheat pasting, most of the time not legal stuff, but just a lot of street art. So this is one of those great merges of what I love to do with, working with an institution that supported it. So it was really awesome. I mean, I love that project still. Sometimes I just ride past it on my bike and I'm just like, oh, that's, So I love that opportunity, and I'm working now to expand that project throughout the city, not just in areas where tourists are, but in neighborhoods, because, they need to understand that these neighborhoods are theirs. And I think a lot of people get ownership and take better pride in their area when they see themselves in it. So, I mean, I live in a neighborhood where there's not much public art, or not enough Black public art specifically. So I'm working on, expanding that across the city. But I've been involved in a few pretty cool projects, I have to say, mostly working on my own, but through the exposure that I've been able to get, there's been some publications that have, really took interest, and, there's some things happening. I don't want to speak too soon because I don't want to jinx anything, but things are in constant motion because I'm just constantly working. That's all I do is I'm in the studio, or I'm on a Zoom call, or I'm applying for something, or, it's all the process of just trying to stay focused on the work. So I really try not to even get too distracted by what comes from it, because I feel like it'll outweigh the production of it. So it's a struggle, but it's been great to produce some great ideas and see them out in the world. And I hope to continue that this year.
So just in case the attendees here haven't noticed, Victoria did drop a link for Yannick's website and for Shanae, so you can check their work out there. But what I think is really interesting about your work, Yannick, is that, you're really saying something in your collage. And a lot of times collages, I love collage. It's lovely, but I see yours and I definitely am feeling the message, especially with the box that you left on 5th and South for us. Can you pretty much talk about what the vision for that box was?
Yeah, so the box was, in my mind, a portal. I call it a portal box. And on each side represents a different gateway or portal, if you will, into a different kind of reality. I think we're all, throughout this last year have at least thought once of just getting out, or just have this escapist ideas. At least I have, I'm just trying to change what the circumstances are, but not knowing how to really go about that and just really wanting to just escape. So this box really was trying to, put that into an actual physical form as an escape, and I think that it's a current sentiment that a lot of people will resonate with, and specifically people who are, going through it, which is a lot of people, unfortunately, this year. And I think that's a reoccurring theme in a lot of my work, is about, imagining future realities. And, I think the first step to getting there is visualizing it. I visualize everything that I do first, or at least I try. And, sharing that kind of idea, I think, can be inspiring for someone who is so stuck in a rut. And a lot of people are, I think through the work, they can at least take a break. It's an escape.
Yeah, and I misspoke. So if anybody wants to see this box, it's at 6th and South, which is right next to the City Blue and across the street from the fire station. But yeah, if you get a chance on your stroll, please do check that work out. But I think I'm going to throw it over to Ellen, because we're talking about strolling out and seeing. We're talking about Philadelphia legacies and your family, Ellen. That is a huge legacy for Philadelphia, but I want to separate you from the work of your family and talk about what you're doing as an artist in Philadelphia.
One of the biggest things that has developed for me quite organically is my outreach through my workshops. There's such a wonderful therapeutic thing. Art saves lives. And I mean, within one class, you can see the transformation, and see the product right there. Something they can feel, they can touch, is right there for them. I've had the benefit of working with seniors at University Square Senior Home with Mural Arts, doing my workshops there, through my neighborhood time exchange residency, doing intergenerational workshops with seniors and youth. And now I'm going to be working with Porch Light. That's going to be starting at the end of February. And that's a different group, financially challenged, housing challenged. And I'm looking forward to that opportunity to bring my magic to them and see, who has an affinity for it and possibly work with me on a mural there in the future. So I'm excited for that opportunity. I'm excited to work with a new group that I have yet to work with, that segment of the population. I love my outreach. I love my workshop. I'm a real people person. And what's been really challenging about this whole thing is that, you have to find a way to get that across in a Zoom, or get that across. And that's not my biggest thing. I'm a one-on-one person. And I've been lucky enough to be able to do workshops at Bartram outside, socially distanced. And, I'm happy to be able to still work as an artist and work one-on-one, because that's a big part of my magic, and it's a big part of the spell, when to be able to do that with them one-on-one. And I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel now with the vaccine being out, but I mean, art really is a magical thing. And to be able to share that with people, I'm very blessed and honored. So I'm looking forward to my new opportunity working at Porch Light, to be right there in the midst of it in Suburban Station. I'm excited.
We're all excited to see, what happens for you, because the one thing we talked about is that COVID really put constraints on how you were able to get out into the community the way you really love. And it was put constraints on us being able to work with you as well, which, it's
Yes.
sad, because some things can be done inside your studio, right? Like you said, some things can be done virtually, but you have a very hands-on discipline that needs to be done in groups. Because I know you love teaching, but how have you sort of geared yourself into something different since right now? I don't want to, is it been a stalemate for you, or?
No, not at all. I did a lot of mini mosaics. They've been selling. I donated one to Rush Arts that was auctioned off and was able to benefit them. Rush Arts is a great organization here in Philadelphia, Danny Simmons. Been getting up working in the studio, trying to, and it's hard sometimes, it's hard to because I'm very much fueled by, outside experiences, getting work ready for that next show, so it's kind of hard to self-motivate me. Okay, Ellen, get up. Let's go do it, but I've been doing it. It's also, not to be so harsh on myself, do what you can do. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and, with this, it's always, okay, well, what did you get done during the pandemic? You got all this downtime, and I, can't do that to yourself. If anything, I've been learning to ease up, take my own time, my own space. It can't be forced, especially with the art. It can't be forced, because if it's forced, it shows. It doesn't ring true, and it doesn't look good. The vibe is there. So yeah, I guess going inside myself more, drawing for myself more.
How about anybody else on the panel? Like, how did you get through COVID with your creative disciplines? Or how are you? Because we're still, I'm acting like it's just done and over with. No, we're still here. So what's changed for you?
I'll go ahead and answer this one. I think for me personally, it really helped me lock in what I wanted to say. A lot of times, I mean, there's just so much to say all the time. You can speak about anything, but I think there's a Nina Simone quote. I think she says, like, your art should reflect the times. So it's like so difficult to make anything without commentary on what's going on. And since there's so much going on, it's just so much content to draw from. But us being isolated really, made me specifically just say, okay, what's my response to this? So it was really therapeutic for myself, just trying to process what was going on, and seeing that, manifest in work, was a way for me to kind of just get it off, and I think a lot of people probably experience the same thing because of the forced isolation, even if it was momentary. But it's just so much happening. Everybody just needs some outlet. And I think, the work was mine.
Yeah, I love that quote, because I think here I am with mine. Like, people don't know you're working. It's like, I think that quote starts with her saying it's an artist's job to do that, right? It's a directive. So I always look at that and think to myself, like, there's no time to slow down, right? It's just like, you just have to keep on thinking about who you're trying to impact and that change you're trying to affect.
Well, also, even just, the whole concept of time has shifted, really. You're trying to work in response to what's going on, but you're also trying to value your own time. It's a tricky balance, at least it was for me and still is, trying to respect my own personal boundaries and others, in this condition of what's going on. So yeah, as much as you try to make commentary of it, for me, it was really just trying to sort it in my own head and realizing that other people were resonating with it. And I think that's true of any work that you're doing that's honest and genuine, is that you're going to find parallels with other people and connect through that.
It's like, I was about to say, Simone, I was just about to call on you and you unmuted yourself.
I think, I spoke a little bit earlier about, the slingshot effect that quarantine has really had. But, the balance, like Yannick said, is just really, really important. The burnout is real. The burnout of, this time off. And I think that's the hardest part, because, I feel like everyone, that has a 9-to-5, is home working, and they had to figure out when to turn their phone off. Maybe I'll turn it off on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, don't call me, don't email me. But as far as freelancing goes, that there's no weekend, there's no time off. But you can't pour from an empty cup, really. So I think learning when to take the time off, when to sit and kind of just do visual research versus editing something or trying to find graphic art wherever I could. Really just, I think that's been the hardest part, is just focusing on the end goal, and not just trying to, and that's the hard part about right now is, you have to pay your bills. So taking the work that you need to take is always important. But I feel like I've been lucky enough, with the help my partner Matt have been lucky enough to really just focus on what the final vision is and be able to execute.
Yeah, like the hustle is real. And you guys are just the best at it. I just keep laughing and thinking to myself, like the amount of times that you've kept us on our P's and Q's, which is great because it's that hunger, it's that drive that everybody wants to survive and everybody wants to be seen and be heard and to make an impact in this world. But you can't do that sort of sitting on the sidelines or waiting for someone to discover you. You guys are making that happen, on your own. This fellowship is not about us discovering them. Like they were already here. They're already working in their disciplines. They were already making impacts. It's about just us knowing that each other is there, that this exists and that we can, build a community on top of that. So I don't want anybody to think that this is an opportunity for like, oh, so you got something out of it. Like, no, we all are sort of building this thing together, and that's what I love about it. And I hope that the next iteration of the fellowship is just as strong as you guys are. But Shanae, you kind of like you're between Philadelphia and New York, aren't you? Or did you not anymore because of all of this?
I am. I slowed down because of the pandemic. I was in Philadelphia a lot more because it's just a lot more space here for me. And so what I did here, like I said, as a form of self-care, I turned my garage into a painting studio. And as Simone mentioned, this slingshot effect. So while my business, and I have to just say this, I don't work alone. I have two teams on the interior design side and on the PHA side who do a lot of things for me to make me look pretty. While they were building capacity, sort of that slingshot effect, I did a lot of self-care. I did a lot of slowing down, and it involved partying solo in my garage, turning it into a club on Friday nights, playing really, really loud and obscene music and drinking out of wine bottles. And so I wanted to make sure that I did take time for myself, and I did. And a lot of it was inspired by these artists, right? Knowing that, creators create. And so trying to figure out how I can create, but not be so rigid, not be so, it's not in my form. As an interior designer, I had no plans on being a painter. And so now I'm painting, oil on canvas, and it feels good. And I'm placing these in clients' homes because they're asking for it. And so that has been great. I've slowed down going to New York, but I was just there. I woke up in New York this morning. And so I'm still moving around safely, but I'm still going. I was in Lenox, Massachusetts last night. I was in New York this morning, and I'm back here in Philly. So I'm still hustling.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's a lot. And Ellen had mentioned before that she was working with Rush Arts, and I just wanted to say that Victoria did put a link in the chat box to Rush Arts. And so that's a gallery here that's located in Philadelphia, and it fosters and furthers the careers of emerging artists and curators. So hopefully you guys get a chance to check that out.
Did I say one thing? One of
yes.
our fellows, he's not here in our chat, but Anthony Carlos Malden has a one-man show at Rush now. Fantastic show. I got to go to the virtual opening, and his girlfriend Ursula Rucker was like emceeing as they walked around the gallery. He's a wonderful emerging artist, so I had to give him a shout out as well.
Please do, Ellen, because that reminds me, I do have a link to his show, so I'll try and get that into the chat box as well before we end this. Yes. We have about 10 minutes left, so if anybody has questions for any of our fellows, or if you have questions about the next iteration of this, please do put that in the chat box, and we'll try to get to as many as possible. But I just want to remind you that this fellowship is for funding and fostering and elevating the work of Black artists. So please do give a look at the link to the application. It is up already. The applications will be due on February 28th, and everybody will know about how it's going by April 30th. It's a little bit of time in between, but it gives us a chance to really look at all of the applicants and spend some time with their work as well. So I'm sure Victoria will be putting that link to the application in the chat box soon. And I am going to look for this link to Anthony's show, Ellen, because you're right, it was amazing. See if we can't give a shout out to another one of our fellows. Oh, we've got questions already? That's great. For this one is for Simone. Oh, when will we start hearing about your upcoming film? So I guess when are you going to start promotion, Simone?
Promotion for Vex is going to start in March. So I'll start rolling that out, working with Conrad from Streets Department on what that is going to look like. Some of the artists that are included, there are a lot. As far as street art, Marion Bailey, who has a mural in the airport, I think. Simone Salib, Marissa Velasquez, Blur Street, Athena, who's also a fellow, Tiffany Urquhart, and Hysterical Men. So those are the muralists and graffiti artists that'll be included in the project. So you'll start seeing their work. But there'll be 3 parts, so that will happen in April. And then the other documentary, the West Philly documentary, we'll be releasing the teaser and things in the future. So that's pending. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, or you can follow Tetra Creative on Instagram, TRTRA, TETRA, Tetra Creative on Instagram. Anything that we're doing will be posted there.
Great. And thank you, Philly Walls, for saying so. Someone just gave us a really great comment, and they're saying that they don't have a question, but they just want to share.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, Ellen, jump in.
Philly Walls should apply. She's a wonderful photographer. She did some photos of me when I was doing a workshop for the Barnes that were absolutely fantastic. And what I love about her is she doesn't allow me to do candids. And I'm one of these people that wants to. So they're really candid, great shots. And I'll stop now, but I believe in uplifting other artists. And she's a really amazing, wonderful photographer here in Philadelphia.
Well, I mean, thanks for saying that, because she's just saying, sending a note of appreciation to all of you, and just saying that she's enjoying this opportunity to learn more about your work. And I don't want to forget that Yannick, you can purchase his work as well. So it's like, when do you drop your new pieces, Yannick?
Honestly, I don't have a schedule. But I
Shanae
work.
doesn't believe you. Shanae's giving you the side eye, like, isn't it?
I know. Shanae says on Fridays, it's like, I'm trying to come from people's pockets, but it's really not by design like that. It's just, I don't know. Honestly, I'm pretty active. Check back every week at severe.paper on Instagram. Also at my site, severepaper.com. I have a new series that I've been working on for Black History Month, highlighting some really interesting figures historically. That's on sale. I mean, so it's pretty nonstop. I mean, just check in with me, and I'm always having new work up.
So can we give a word of advice for people who are looking to apply?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I think if you really want to advance your practice, you have to invest in yourself. And that means looking for opportunities, looking for resources that will help you do that. And this is one of those things. So you should be actively looking for funding or trying to align yourself with organizations that are going to be able to see your vision. And I think Mural Arts, and with this fellowship, is doing a specifically great job for emerging artists and established artists as well. So I think I would definitely strongly suggest that you apply for this. So, like, don't wait. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of applications. Might as well just get it done as fast as possible.
Oh, okay. So we just got real quiet all of a sudden. So we do have were you saying something, Shanae?
I just wanted to encourage folks to apply. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, don't second guess yourself. Be as confident in this as anything else. The worst they can say is no, or they can consider you next year, or yes, right? And so don't be afraid of that yes. Take the time to apply. The application process isn't lengthy. They don't make it so that you have to input everything that's on your resume like a job application. It's not like that. It's intuitive, and it will change your life.
Yeah, it's like, this is just us giving claps. Like, Noah and I want to see work, and we want to just say, like, this is amazing work. Congratulations. here's some money and welcome to our family. Someone just asked how or where you all draw your inspiration from your art. So I think it's a really great way to close out, since we've got about like 5 minutes left. If you want to just jump in, just let them know.
Nature is one of my biggest inspirations. Nature is a beautiful, sacred thing. Like, our environment is constantly under assault. You know, one of the things that they say COVID stems from is, you know, that assault upon nature, you know, the sanctity of nature and the beauty in it. You know, without food, without water, without air, you can't live. And in our capitalist society, money, you know, it's a created thing, you know, but without air and water, you can't live, you know. So I exalt and celebrate nature and the human, you know, because we are part of nature, you know. In this modern world, we're separated from it, you know, but you are part of it, you know. There's no getting around it. So that's my biggest inspiration.
Anybody else want to jump in?
With regard to interior design, I am of the belief that the best design of your life starts at home. And it's important for me to share that with individuals wherever they are, meeting folks where they are, to ensure that they're creating that best life, you know. And so take care of your home. Our homes are doing heavy duty right now because we're here all the time. So take care of your space, clean it if you can, hire someone if you can, get a plant or two or half dozen, whatever it is that you're into. But take care of home. And if you take care of home, you'll be taking care of yourself.
And fill it with art. Just fill it with art.
Fill it with art. Fill it with honest art. Get some of Ellen's mosaics up there. Make sure that you're playing Simone's videos on a Friday night, Saturday night, whatever. Spend all of your money with these people. That's what I do. So.
And like we keep saying, like, you know, it's one of those times where, you know, some of us don't have jobs, some of us don't have the ability to buy art, but the most important thing you can do is support the artist. And whether that's going to their Instagram or to their website or giving them a shout out, that is just as important. So please don't think that you can't be a part of this community because you can't purchase art.
I guess for myself, as far as inspirations go, I do graphic art, and my graphic art is a little bit more alternative than my film work, and I'm growing to kind of converge that in the future. But just, you know, wherever, I think the best part about this year, but I think I've always just been able to learn from other types of artists and really just pull from, you know, just because I'm doing film doesn't mean I can't, you know, look at mosaics or, you know, collage work and draw inspiration from those other mediums. Art is art, and, you know, just creating itself, no matter what medium you use. At the end of the day, that's really just the goal. But yeah, I think that's my inspiration. And I did want to say, like, as far as applying, just come in with an open mind. You really don't know what you're going to get out of it, but being able to talk to all of the different types of artists that are in the cohort, you know, we didn't even get to talk to everyone. And, you know, now I'm still kind of reaching out, and, you know, it's kind of a never ending silo of just support because we're all in this together.
And that has like pushed us right up to our hour. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. I've enjoyed your questions and your comments. And thank you, cohorts, for taking this time out of your busy schedules to sit down with us and talk about this program. And I encourage everybody to go to Mural Arts site to sign up for the next one. It'll be on the 23rd, where you can meet some more of our 2020 fellows. And we can just sit back and have a very chill discussion about how their year has been too. But all the links are still in the chat for the next few minutes. This is being recorded live on Facebook, so you can always go back and see this recording. And much love to everybody. Stay safe out there. And hopefully I'll be talking to all of you very soon.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Where's our theme music, Victoria?